So, and this one's gonna be about beer apparently and society and two guys that actually made quite a lot of money, I assume at least, and yeah, and how they started that business, how they were thinking about the business. So basically a little bit again, as we've been doing it yesterday actually, a little bit of an insight into somebody's mind and or into somebody's story or narrative. Yeah, it is narrative. This is the word that I was looking for. But as you might know, there is going to be more after the intro. After the intro, like every single day. So yeah, as you might have noticed up to this point, I'm quite... Is it just me, or is it actually the case that I'm quite small? Like, small in terms of, okay, maybe it's... Yeah, it's better now. It really is better now. Just before it was like I'm a really tiny motherfucker here. But yeah, as you might have noticed up to this point, the podcast is not edited, and I'm not gonna edit it from this point on because, yesterday I was sitting here at this certain desk and I was editing the 2 episodes that I was recording just before. So I was actually working out. I came home, worked out, recorded 2 episodes and then edited them straight ahead. And it was quite a lot of work. It is really a lot of work. And I really do just admire those people that are actually editing their videos, especially because we often don't see quite a lot of the recording itself. Like often it is like, okay, 1 hour of recording or half an hour of recording, and the editor or the recorder himself or herself do have to go through the whole shit and then cut out everything that is shit and everything that is might be inappropriate or something, I don't know. And it is quite a lot of work. It really is a lot of work. And it is something that really doesn't make me that happy. But there is going to be something else. I'm going to try and see if I can find a new format where I can edit it or where I can edit things and whatever. But the podcast's going to be raw. The podcast's going to be uncut. Not for the podcast, so not for the audio version, just because I have to edit it, because the audio isn't that nice. I do just really feel like I have to, just because I also have to transcribe it and or just, get the audio out of the video. And there it's like, okay, if I'm then just post-editing it is not that, of an effort or something. It's just really a quick thing. And therefore, yeah, the podcast's not going to be edited from this point on. It's going to be raw, fucking raw. It might be even pretty good, because I've actually seen that, well, by going through all the episodes, by going through all the shit that I've recorded up to this point, well, I still have cuts. Like, here is another screen than just before, and I might be just, editing the scenes. I might be editing just the little quick sections that I have inside of the podcast, and maybe try to make it a little bit more interesting, and also by myself, like by just developing my speaking skills, by developing my entertaining skills, to actually make it a little bit more interesting and see what I can do with that besides the editing or outside of the editing actually. But as I've said, and as I've as I've teased a little bit before, there is going to be something else. I don't know if I'm going to just still keep uploading 2 regular podcast episodes, but the other format that I'm going to establish is also going to be translated, is also going to be as a podcast, so as audio only version available. Just because I want to have that numbers, to be honest. I really want to have the numbers. Yesterday with actually, what's going on? Yesterday with actually hit the 400 podcast episodes, which is amazing, which is totally fucking amazing. But yeah, just because I want to be happy, and if I'm not happy, it is not good. And I even, which is the funny thing, I even want to just act on my own advice. I always advise people and I always suggest people and tell people to do what they are loving. And what am I doing? I'm editing the fuck out of these podcast episodes, even though I don't even know if it is necessary. In terms of the background music, I might be doing that because I like it, but I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna do that. But yeah, this is gonna be it. There's gonna be something else. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be, I think, highly edited just because I want to work on that. I want to have that skill of being able to edit things because it's amazing, and which was also one of the reasons why I've started to edit the podcast, because I thought like, well, it would be nice to be able to edit, quite fast and efficient and in a well way. But yeah, it turned out to be just a lot of work, and just a lot of work that I do not particularly enjoy. Still, if there's the need, I'm gonna edit it, just small little parts. I've also been thinking about just editing out all the parts where I'm not talking a lot, the silent parts, which are apparently quite often there, as I've seen by going through so many episodes. Well, I think it was like 10 or something. But yeah, without talking much more about that, we are going ahead with another article from the Inc.com website on two guys, beer, and society, apparently. It just always depends on where the articles lead me to and what I'm just thinking about then and whatsoever. But I'm gonna read. It is from the Inc. 5000 section, and this is the title. The side project made these two guys heroes to millions of beer lovers, but it still took them years to quit their day job. And the reason why I've actually took that one is because they have actually been struggling with, quitting their day jobs. And I was quite interested in that. And yeah, to see how they did it in the end. I hope at least there is something in there. But yeah, so for years, Greg Overler and Tim Mather couldn't bring themselves to chase their startup dreams full time. Now, after an unlikely move that finally spurred a career change, they aren't looking back. By Cameron Albert Deitch, or Deitch, whatever, on Twitter at @C_Albert Deitch, or Deitch, or whatever it is. So 9 years ago, Greg Overler and Tim Mather, or Mother, I think it's not Mother because it is not in U or something, because it's Mather. I think it's Mather, but I don't know. I'm not a native speaker, as you might can tell. Created Untapped, or Untapped without an E, so it is, I'm gonna spell it. It is UNTAPP and a D. A Foursquare style check-in app for beer, thanks to an idea and $1,000 from Avola. It is actually Avola, Greg Avola. Even as Untapped took off, the two kept their day jobs until they found an unconventional way to devote themselves to that company, as told to Cameron Albert Deitch. And now you can see the man in, what is it called? I don't actually know what it is called. I think it is like this piece of clothing that you often see in movies, but I'm actually not having one. My parents have one, but I'm not. I do kind of feel like it is just really unnecessary, but it is this kind of clothing that you're wearing when you're just heading into the shower, or when you're just intending to go into the shower, and then if you're just finished with your showering part and whatsoever, then you're gonna wear it as well. I don't know what it is called. I'm not gonna look it up just because it takes a lot of time and I want to bring value here. So Untapped co-founder Greg Overler in the front yard of his home in Connecticut, probably drinking the kind of beer he once despised. From Nathan Perkel. It's funny. I wasn't really that into beer. And by the way, I'm not drinking any alcohol stuff, and I would suggest you to not do it as well, just because it's, really fucking unhealthy. Even though, there's always going to be a debate about, okay, is wine healthy? Is wine unhealthy? I somehow feel like even though people suggest okay, drinking 1 glass of wine every day is really healthy and it helps your heart and whatsoever, I wouldn't suggest so. Because the thing is, there's probably just way more things that are just even healthier than wine that are actually doing the exact same thing. I guess a lot of vegetables. I assume. I don't know, I'm just assuming. But the thing is, I guess so. And alcohol is really not just the best thing for your body. It is basically like fucking poison. And it is so fucking toxic. As I know and as I've noticed it and as people can, I think, tell. But yeah, I think it is really not a secret that alcohol and, all those things, all these alcoholic drinks are not really the most healthiest thing. But I think there's just going to be a debate. But, I believe there is always going to be a debate about that, just because it is so in our society. At least I think in Europe. I think in Europe it is something different than in the States, especially in Germany, in Austria, and I don't know, Switzerland, if they do just have it in a culture as well. But, the culture of Germany and Austria are not really the same. They can be pretty similar, They can be, they not necessarily have to be, just because, like, yeah, comparing the sizes of the two nations, well, yeah, there's gonna be some differences, just because of that. But, in terms of beer, it is so in our society, it is so fuck in our society. Like, every single day I'm seeing someone drinking some beer, whether it is just in a park or something, because it is like, I don't know if it is legal to drink, in public in the States, because I think it is not somehow. It might be just some of these misconceptions, but I don't know. In our place it is like, so in Austria it's like, okay, you can drink wherever you want, with what bottle you want, and whatsoever. So it's, nobody cares, in the end. And it really is also like, okay, even though it is so fucking unhealthy and it is so like unsuggestible, at my point of view at least, the people still consume it like in masses. Like, I think it is, sometimes I kind of feel like it is even fucking cheaper than water. Even though we can just, drink out of the tap, I don't know, like, still people have, bottled water sometimes, if it's like sparkling water or whatever it is. And then sometimes it is really like the case. If you're buying, I think, if you're buying the cheapest beer you can find, like in a can or something, and if you then buy the most expensive water that you're having in just a regular supermarket, not like in some premium shops or something, then I think the water is going to be more expensive than the fucking beer. Which is, I think, somehow interesting, just because we are also using water for the beer, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know how beer is produced, but I don't suggest drinking alcohol in general. Yeah, but this is just a personal preference. Like, if you enjoy it, if it is something that really makes you happy, then I guess just do it, I guess. But I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure about that. I'm not quite sure about the statement. So, it's funny. I wasn't really that into beer. Tim and I met over Twitter in 2007 and now say that social media is bad, motherfuckers. I lived in Massachusetts and he was in California. We worked on a few freelance jobs together, me as a software engineer and Tim as a web designer. I would never heard of what he was drinking out west, and sometimes I would think, I wish I could get that beer. In the summer of 2010, I was traveling a lot as a consultant for KPMG. I remember sitting in my hotel room in Springfield, Massachusetts, and telling Tim, hey, we always check in on Foursquare. What if we did something related to beer and location? Beer is inherently very social. It really is social, and there wasn't an online version of that interaction. I went home that weekend to work on a prototype and had a dirty version of it within 48 hours. We launched Untapped that October 22nd, or 22th, like my fucking teeth. No, 22nd, motherfuckers. 14 days later, Measurable wrote an article about it. It's amazing. Like, the thing is, having a good idea and then also being able, as he was, to actually, work on that idea and also realize that idea is just amazing. Like, as James Altucher, the author of several books, has been written in one of the books, I think it is even the title of one book, ideas are the currency of nowadays generation. I don't know, still having a good idea is just bonkers, it's just what you need, like, and then working on it, yeah, you can hire some people, but you gotta have a fucking idea, and the idea has to be great, of course, it makes sense, I guess. But yeah, the best thing then is if you're also able to just realize it on your own, it's not costing any money, like the design part is probably, or was probably then made by, or done by Tim, I assume, so the web designer, because I assume that he's just, well, a designer in general. If he's able to web design, I don't know. I hate web design, actually. It's something that I really do not like to do. It's just because I'm not really used to it, I guess, and all the proportions usually are not that good when I'm doing something for web. Just because, I don't know, like, I do not have such a feeling and such a maybe sensitivity for that, at this point of time, But it's still funny, so I like it, but it's maybe not something that I am just the best at. Over time, we became two guys doing what we could to support millions of people on this app, on this site. Our two main advisors who would sold beer startups starting telling us we weren't dedicated because we hadn't quit our day jobs. Neither said neither said it out loud, but they heavily implied, hey, you have the successful thing, why haven't you gone ahead and tried to do this full time? Then one of them sat me down over coffee in San Francisco to talk about Techstars. And now again, one of the founders, Greg. The allure was very big, and the greatest things come out of those incubators with plenty of funding. But I was so used to corporate life, you went to work and you went home and you got a paycheck. This would have been meant not knowing if there would even be a paycheck, not knowing if this is going to last 3 months or how your relationships are going to hold up. Definitely, it's definitely something different than having your normal 9-to-5 job. I assume at least, I've never had a company, and I don't even know if I'm going to have one. Maybe just because of some tax advantages. There may be, it's gonna be just, good in the future, which I can actually assume. Like, I really can assume that. I'm just really thinking about whether a lot of YouTubers have actually their own company just because it is great for the taxes, and to also maybe save some taxes or to just handle them a little bit better, a little bit more easy. I even think that you have to, don't you? Unless, which is something that I don't know, unless, YouTube and the networks on YouTube or the networks for YouTube, unless they actually handle it a little bit for you and your manager and whatsoever. But yeah, in Austria, it is actually the case that if you surpass a certain amount of income, so a certain is it amount? So I think it is 5K or something, but I don't know. I've learned it, I've forgotten it because it's actually something that I'm not that interested in at the time. But the thing is, if you surpass that, then you gotta have to have a company or something. I don't know. There was something about that. Then it is not able for you to just work as a freelance or something. You do just have to. Well, I think it is about taxes because, up to this point, nobody knows that you're working. Especially if it is some freelance shit. Nobody knows that you're working, but the government still wants some payment there, want some taxes there. And I think after just if you surpass 5K or 10K or 7K or something in that region, I guess, then you actually have to pay your taxes for that or something. And you also have to be yeah, I'm having a job right now, and it might also be a company. I don't remember, but there is something about it. It might be also the case in your country as well, in your nation, in your region, in your location. Maybe also not, I really don't know. So, if we were single and in our 20s, we couldn't have made it work. But we weren't in college. We couldn't eat ramen noodles for the rest of our lives or pick up and move somewhere else. We had families. We couldn't just drop everything and go for it. We knew we needed to get bigger, but an investor would have felt like a boss. It really would have felt we needed a partner we could trust. The idea of a merger started to make sense. A merger, which is a partner, I assume. It might have been somebody, and I'm really looking forward to which type of person then it was. But I assume it is someone that is able to work there full time or has some experience with those kind of startups. I assume, at least. I really assume that. So in 2015, we were approached by Nextglass. It had structure but not scale. We had millions of users. Nextglass acquired Untapped that December. The combined company took our name and we quit our day jobs. So apparently the funny thing, as I'm seeing it now there, unless they've got just some high equity shit in the company still, even though it got acquired, which is something that I do not know, or if they still are the CEO, basically in the end, and as by now, they are just employed by the company. Isn't it the case? They have quit their normal day job and now they have their normal day job. And just because somebody else acquired the whole thing, yeah, and now they're employed as well. Isn't it the case? Am I thinking about something wrong there? I don't know. I think it is the case. Yeah, it must be. It has to be. It doesn't must be, but it has to be. I think it has to be. So, and we have finally become big beer fans, which is actually somehow interesting because like having a startup about something or around something that you're not particularly passionate and you like, it still works. If you have a good idea, there you can see it still can work. But yeah, the Greg from 8 or 9 years ago wouldn't be perplexed by how I now like all these hazy IPAs. He would say, "Wow, that's wow, that's disgusting." So my favorite beer now is Pliny the Elder, a double IPA. I don't know what IPA is. Short for India Pale Ale, International Phonetic Alphabet. No, I think it is India Pale Ale, isn't it? Maybe it definitely is something beer related, but I can't tell right now. A double IPA from Russian River Brewing. It was one of the first beers I learned about from the Untapped community. It's never let me down, which is amazing, I guess. Like, one of the things that why can't I? Why? No. One of the things that I'm also thinking about is like, well, I don't want to get successful, and I've been talking about it just before. I want to get successful with what I'm doing right here, and I guess I'm quite on a good path here, just because I'm doing such a lot of things. That's it. Just because I'm putting out way more content that I think than a lot of people. I guess this is just my advantage. I don't know if the content is even better. This is something that we can heavily debate about. But the thing is, having a community has to be something amazingly great. Like, I can do something and people tell me like, okay, I do not want to see that and I want to see that. Of course, there's going to be just some shitty thing about that as well, just because like, yeah, if people tell you what to do, it's not going to be just always just beautiful, I guess. It's sometimes it's going to be just really fucked up and shitty. But the thing is, probabilities are also there that everything is great and everything is good and everything is nice. Who knows? Who really knows? So we are 22 minutes in. I've actually also been thinking about having the podcast a little bit longer or making it a little bit longer, just to maybe just still have the exact same amount of time that I'm just spending here, like with the new format that is probably not going to be as long as the podcast, but shorter, but more edited, more like, okay, I can put my creativity into that. And this is more like, okay, I can talk, because this is also something that I like to do. Like, I like to talk, I like to sit here, read some shit and talk about it and think about it. It is amazing. It is fucking amazing. It really is. But yeah, let's actually see if there's some other article. Well, what do I think about it? Like, it is amazing. Let's Untapped. Let's actually see Untapped, drink socially, because I haven't gotten the whole concept of it, to be honest, but I will show you. So now we are on the Untapped site. Drink socially, which is their slogan. It seems to be their slogan. Untapped, discover and share your favorite beer. So it is like, is it like social media or something? And it is like, okay, I'm gonna show you what my favorite beer is. Check in and rate beer. Keep track of what you've tried and what you thought of it by checking in a beer and rating it. Drink new beers, unlock badges. And they also, to actually transcribe it or actually translate it from audio from sight to hearing, like from me seeing it to me talking about it, so that all the people from the podcast also knew what I'm talking about. So apparently it is also the case that you can have a map, or there is a map, and you can just then see where other beers are, and then you can just try other beers and exactly know where they are and where you can try them and whatsoever, which is good. Not sure where to grab a pint? Untapped shows you popular bars and venues nearby and what's on tap. Great. Other great features: updated menus, follow verified venues to get live tap list updates. Recommendations: discover new beers locally we think you will like, and local events. Amazing. Get the Untapped for businesses. Your beer menus and events published to millions of beer enthusiasts. Quickly share your beer menus with the world. Maximize visibility to drive new customers to your venue. Keep your customer up to date by publishing to Untapped Twitter and Facebook. the pub home API. Claim your brewer today. Work for a brewery, view insights, and engage with customers. Well, it actually sounds pretty great, but I didn't think it was, such a social thing, because it still is, even though it is something in like between, at my point of view. Like, it is not really that social, because it's like, okay, there's not like some postings or whatever. It is just merely like, okay, I drank a beer, I'm rating it, and then I'm just, well, giving other people the chance and the ability to also drink it, which is actually amazing. It is good. And the thing is, I don't know if they've just somehow copyrighted the whole thing. Not like in terms of, okay, they're doing it with beers and I'm gonna do it with water and some other shit, but it is also basically like TripAdvisor and all these other websites that you're having, where you can actually find some suggestions for eating somewhere. Like, okay, I've eaten that burger at Wendy's. Is there something like Wendy's? Because I sometimes hear it, I think, or I've heard it before. I don't know. The thing is, I've eaten that burger from Wendy's and it is great, and I'm gonna rate it. Here it is. Well, it would make sense also for other concepts, and it would maybe also just work for them, like beer and burgers. I don't know, like, sounds great. Sounds really great. I like that. And something that I just think about is like, there is a new app, at least it is in my region. It also depends on what region you are in, and what is then on your social media, and not social media, but on your app store as well. But we now have also like a social drinking kind of side, where when somebody drinks a beer, and it is basically also about alcohol, and I think, is it beer only? Nah, I think it's not beer only, but the thing is, if you're drinking a beer, you can post that there, and all the other people see where you are and that you're drinking a beer at this point in time, which can be good, which can be, well, like, okay, other people are knowing, okay, you're drinking a beer, and yeah, then they can join you. You're basically somehow inviting just random people to drink with you, but there's like some friends lists and something like this, so not everybody can see you. Maybe there is an option, I don't know, but I assume there is not. But I don't know what it is called. Social beer site. Social beer drinking. A glass of beer makes people more sociable. Untapped, we find Untapped there. Maybe it is even Untapped, I don't know. Posting a picture of you drinking a beer no longer hurts your thing. Understanding drinking culture in China. I think it is in general pretty interesting to see what drinking cultures are at other places, just because it's like so dominant in my place. I'm just actually having a look at it. I'm not even reading. I'm having a look at this fucking thing. But the thing is, it is like such a common thing in my country. Like, it is so normal, and it's really sometimes fucks with me, just because I consider beer not being like the most healthiest thing and whatsoever. Therefore, like, yeah, I feel even a little bit sad that it is such a common thing in our society, and such a like regular, like, it is so acceptable, and like, it is sometimes, I think it is even like you have to, like, yeah, I don't know, like, also the same exact things with sweets. I'm also not eating any sweets. There have also just been like some really interesting looks of other people in terms of me not eating sweets, like, do you have diabetes? And I'm like, no, I do just want to be fucking healthy. I'm not having any fucking illnesses or something, or diseases, whatever it is. I do just merely want to be healthy and want to feel good, because I've noticed, okay, because, for me it is like, okay, if I'm eating sweets, I'm eating fucking a lot of sweets. Like, it is not like, okay, I'm just gonna eat 1 or 2 or 3. It was like, okay, if I eat a cake, I'm gonna eat 2 slices and not 1 slice. Maybe this was even the case, but I don't know. Like, at this point of time, I'm not consuming any alcohol and any sweets. And yeah, I'm doing good with it. I'm feeling great. Like, I think I'm having way more energy than most people. But, this could be just some subjective shit. Like, I don't even know. I really don't. But yeah, it's been an amazing episode, I guess. It's been a really amazing. Hello, what the fuck? It's been a really amazing episode in my point of view, and I really hope that you've enjoyed it as well, and that there's been something interesting for you as well. But yeah. I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and also success, and I also hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you're going to be remembered. Which basically is your legacy, because we have it totally in our control, because we can actually just be nice and kind and generous to all the other people, even though no matter how nice and generous and happy and whatsoever you are, there's still going to be someone that doesn't like you or love you and even hates you, just because it is what we people are, I guess, somehow. But still be kind and still also think about your purpose on this planet. So what are you trying to change, and why are you here? Maybe you can find your purpose through these 2 questions. But I'll see you the next time. I hope everything is fine. I hope I will see you the next time. Subscribe if you haven't. Just hit me up if you want to on social media like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you are. I'm also there, probably. But I see you the next time. Thank you very much. Bye.